Have you ever wondered why some people don't say, "I love you" often, yet their actions make it impossible to doubt? Why two people can sit quietly together, barely speaking, and still feel a connection so strong it almost feels unspoken, invisible, but undeniable? Psychology suggests something fascinating. Real mutual love rarely announces itself loudly. Instead, it reveals itself through small, hidden behaviors that most people overlook. And if you don't recognize these signs, you might walk away from someone who actually loves you deeply. Welcome to Psycho Library, the place where we uncover the hidden psychology behind human emotions, attraction, and relationships. Today, we're exploring 5 hidden signs that happen when two people secretly love each other. These aren't the dramatic movie moments. They're the subtle psychological signals that reveal what words often hide. And the first sign is something psychologists call emotional mirroring. Sign 1: you mirror each other without realizing. Have you ever noticed that when you're around a certain person, you start copying each other's behavior without even trying? Maybe you both lean forward at the same moment. You laugh at the same time. Or somehow, you both reach for your drinks at exactly the same moment. This is called mirroring, and it's one of the strongest unconscious signs of emotional bonding. According to behavioral psychology, when two people feel deeply connected, their brains activate something called mirror neurons. These neurons automatically make us reflect the actions, expressions, and energy of the person we feel closest to. It's not intentional. It's not calculated. Your brain is simply saying, "This person feels safe, this person feels familiar." That's why couples who genuinely love each other often start to talk in similar tones, use the same phrases, adopt similar body language, even develop similar humor. And here's the fascinating part. Research from the Journal of Nonverbal Behavior found that people who mirror each other naturally tend to experience stronger emotional intimacy and long-term relationship satisfaction. In other words, when two people subconsciously mirror each other, it often means their emotional worlds are already syncing. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes, the strongest sign of mutual love isn't what happens when you're together. It's what happens when you're apart. And that leads to the second hidden sign, something psychologists call mental presence. Sign 2: they live in your mind without trying. Let's be honest. Everyone crosses our mind once in a while. But there's a big psychological difference between remembering someone and having them live in your thoughts. When two people secretly love each other, something unusual happens in the brain. Their presence becomes mentally persistent. You're doing something ordinary, working, studying, scrolling your phone, and suddenly, they appear in your thoughts again. Not because you forced it, but because your brain keeps linking emotions to that person. Psychologists call this emotional cognitive anchoring. When someone becomes emotionally significant to you, your brain begins attaching everyday experiences to them. A song reminds you of them. A joke reminds you of them. Even random moments make you think they would laugh at this. And the strange thing is, this often happens on both sides. Two people who love each other frequently find themselves thinking about each other at the same unexpected moments. This isn't mystical. It's neurological. Studies in emotional attachment show that when we develop strong feelings for someone, our brain releases dopamine and oxytocin when we think about them, the same chemicals linked to reward and bonding. So the brain starts replaying that connection, almost like a favorite song. And that's why mutual love often feels like this. You try to focus on something else, but somehow, they keep appearing in your mind. However, the next sign is even more powerful. Because mutual love doesn't just live in thoughts. It quietly appears in the small ways people prioritize each other's emotions. Sign 3: you notice small changes in each other. Here's something interesting about the human brain. We don't pay attention to details unless someone truly matters to us. Think about it. Most people won't notice if you're slightly quieter today. Or if your smile looks just a little forced. But someone who loves you? They notice immediately. They'll ask things like, "Are you okay today? You seem a little different." Even when you try to hide it. Psychologists call this emotional attunement, the ability to detect subtle emotional shifts in someone. And it's one of the clearest indicators of deep emotional attachment. When two people love each other, their brains become highly sensitive to each other's emotional signals. Your silence feels louder to them. Your sadness feels heavier to them. Because emotionally, they're already invested in your inner world. But here's where it becomes even more revealing. Sometimes mutual love shows itself not in intense moments, but in comfortable silence. Which leads to the fourth hidden sign. Sign 4, silence between you feels comfortable. Most conversations are filled with noise. People talk because silence feels awkward. But when two people share genuine emotional connection, something unusual happens. Silence stops feeling uncomfortable. You can sit together doing nothing. No pressure to entertain each other. No need to fill every gap with words. Just quiet, presence. And surprisingly, psychologists consider this one of the strongest markers of emotional safety. Because when someone truly feels safe with you, their nervous system relaxes. They stop performing. They stop overthinking. They simply exist with you. Studies on relationship satisfaction show that couples who feel comfortable sharing silence often experience higher emotional trust and stability. It means neither person feels the need to prove their worth constantly. Their connection already feels secure. But the final sign might be the most powerful of all. Because it reveals itself not through comfort, but through protective instinct. Sign 5, you naturally protect each other's feelings. Here's something fascinating about real love. It changes the way people make decisions. When two people genuinely care about each other, they begin automatically considering the other person's emotions. Not out of obligation, but instinct. Before saying something harsh, they pause. Before making a decision, they think, how would this affect them? Psychologists call this empathic prioritization. When someone becomes emotionally important to you, your brain starts treating their feelings almost like your own. So hurting them feels, strangely similar to hurting yourself. This is why mutual love often appears in subtle ways like choosing kinder words during arguments, protecting each other's vulnerabilities, avoiding actions that could damage trust, quietly supporting each other during difficult moments. It's not about perfection. It's about consideration. And when two people consistently protect each other's emotional well-being, it usually means something deeper than attraction. It means their hearts are already connected. But here's the real question. How many of these signs have you experienced with someone? Because sometimes, the strongest love stories begin before either person admits it. So if you recognized some of these signs today, take a moment and really think about it. Because mutual love doesn't always start with dramatic confessions. Sometimes it begins quietly. With mirrored smiles, unexpected thoughts, comfortable silence, and the simple instinct to protect each other's feelings. If this video made you reflect on someone in your life, let me know in the comments. Which of these signs have you experienced the most? And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind attraction, relationships, and human behavior, make sure you thumbs up like the video. Speech balloon, share your thoughts in the comments. Bell and subscribe to Psycho Library for more deep psychological insights. Because sometimes, understanding human emotions changes everything. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.